Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the Continuous Testing Platform's Getting Started series. Today we're going to be working with virtualization, specifically Parasoft Virtualize. We're going to be simulating or virtualizing a basic REST endpoint. This really is the starting point for any service virtualization project, and it requires no background knowledge. Let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and log into the continuous testing platform. This will become important when I create my virtual service, because one of the things the continuous testing platform does is it streamlines the initial creation of the virtual service, but it does so in a controlled manner so that you have your own sandbox. Therefore, your user account becomes kind of important. And as we go through these different exercises, you'll notice a lot of this will be tailored to you. So if you're all using a common user account for your continuous testing platform, I do recommend creating individual users on the platform. The only other thing that I recommend for this video is that you take some time and watch the What is Service Virtualization video. It gives an overview of what the continuous testing platform is, what the service virtualization component is. But having said all that, let's go ahead and dive right in and simulate a service. So to get started, it's as easy as clicking this quick action right here, virtualize a REST endpoint. Let's go ahead and click that. Okay, so what you see before you is a virtual asset. It is a basic service that is available to you. What we have created is something called a PVA file. This is a Parasoft virtual asset file, and it's a container for all the different information that will be sent as a response from this virtual service. Right now you see that I have something called a literal message responder. What that means is that when my service responds, it responds from here. And right now I do have a literal message. It's JSON, and it's basic. It says response virtual. What I want to do is I want to customize this response just for a basic example. And if you're following along, go ahead and do the same. I'm going to say, instead of the response being virtual, I'm going to say hello world. Seems like a fitting starting point. So since I've made a change to my literal message responder, I'm going to go ahead and save. And now I would like to invoke my message responder. Now in order to do that, I need to know what its URL is. What is its endpoint? So it's actually pretty easy. Right now I can just take my path right here and put it onto my clipboard. Or we can come down and take a look at the actual machine that it's on. In this case, it's on something called Dr. Doom, superhero, villain, I think. The host is my current machine, and the port is 9080. This is the default virtualized port. When you're working with your continuous testing platform, your machine may be different, your port may be different. But for me, this is what it is, Dr. Doom 9080. And then the actual virtual asset itself, well, it's deployed at this name right here, CCOLOSIMO. So if I combine those three pieces of information together, I should be able to say Dr. Doom at 9080 and my login name. And sure enough, there's my response. So it navigated its way all the way to the virtual server, and it chose my asset, and it shows the response from my literal message responder, and I saw a response. So if I was, let's say, creating a service, and I wanted to get a quick mock response coming back, this is all I would have to do. Now, I want to take this just a little bit further, just so I can sort of illustrate some of the capabilities for this. Now, if your continuous testing platform has been set up with the demo application Parabank, then you can go ahead and follow along. If not, I do recommend, as we go through the other videos, these pieces will reference that application a fair bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually leave this tab open as well. And I'm going to go ahead and go into Dr. Doom. Parabank. And again, this is my demo application. Now, in this application, there are some real services. One of the services is one that would give me my account balance. I'm going to log in real quick. John, demo, all lowercase. And what I see is that I have an account, and the account number is 13344, and the balance is $5,022.93. Now, how did my UI actually get that information? Well, it made a RESTful call to a back-end service, provided some information, and that service then responded with my account information. Well, it just so happens, and all of this information, by the way, is available if we go to the services page. You can see at the bottom of the services page all of the different RESTful services that are available, as well as a RESTful artifact for this. But I actually have it right here on this notepad. So when I went to that page to get my account balance, what it actually did was it made a GET call to Parabank and requested the information for this account. And it went ahead and responded with this payload right here, 13344, and the account balance, and some other metadata that we're not seeing represented on this UI. Well, we could easily simulate this service. What I want to do, though, is I want to go ahead and take this URL, and I want to go ahead and put it into here, just to make sure that real Parabank is returning the response that I expect. Okay, there it is. So if I wanted to simulate this service, I could actually go to the virtual asset that I have created here, this one that says Hello World, and I could change the response. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take this XML payload right here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it in here. Okay. Now, right now, I have my responder set up for a JSON response, because that's pretty typical for REST services. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and switch to XML and save. Okay. Now, my virtual service is completely updated. If I were to go back to this same invocation here, server port, my name, and hit enter, I would see that I'm getting exactly the same response that I got from the real service. So this would really help me if I was trying to create a service that perhaps didn't exist. Maybe I wanted to do some type of testing where I need a particular response to come back. I'm in control here of this service now. And I imagine at this point, you can start to think about the different capabilities that you could rapidly build into a virtual service using a combination of responders and correlation. So I recommend go ahead and take a little bit of time, experiment with your own virtual services, and then go ahead and watch the next video where we'll talk about proxies and recording traffic. Thank you.